Well, as most people find out, particularly women, preparation for divorce is more emotionally, legally, and financially difficult than preparing for marriage. If you're a woman going through a divorce, there's an event this weekend that you might want to take advantage of. It's the Summit for Divorcing Women Seminar. And right now we have, to tell us more about that, certified divorce financial analyst, Cliff Benjamin. Cliff, good to have you with us.
Hey, it's great to be here.
Why did you want to do this?
Well, my observation in going through my own court and divorce process a number of years ago is that the courts were overwhelmed with financial matters, and the courts really do treat this as a business proposition. My view in looking at that is that women, especially the disadvantaged spouse, the one who's been at home, hasn't been exposed to finances or business, really does need some really special help and services. So I formed Summit for Divorcing Women and brought in a family lawyer, Marlene Eskin-Moses, Dr. Dodge Ray, a therapist, and a fitness person, Ernie Rodriguez from Fitness One, to help bring a holistic approach to women who are going through divorce.
Now, this is for women. At what stage of the divorce process is this most beneficial for
That's a great question. And frankly, it could be any stage. Whether you like it or not, if you're contemplating divorce, your spouse is probably too, and they're making arrangements for them to win in this. And for our clients, whether it's the beginning of the divorce or in the middle of it, or even considering what settlement options there may be, it's relevant to all of them.
What's the biggest change you've seen in divorce and family planning in the past year or so?
Yeah, that's another great question. Really two parts. I think the first part is the child support guidelines have been substantially changed as of January 17th. They now go by a model called income shares model. It's a very important thing where they're now taking a look at time that the husband is spending with the children and counting that against the amount of child support there is. And I think the second part is really the idea about how to handle options, stock options with publicly traded companies. It continues to be a very expensive argument in the courts.
Yeah. You mentioned some of the other people who are going to be involved in this, because this is more than just financial planning, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. It's empowering the women who attend us to make those choices. It's to give them access to some of the best experts in this town in terms of saying, here's legally what your rights may be. If you're having a difficult decision, how do you get through that difficult decision? Dr. Dodge Ray does a wonderful job with that.
Right.
And again, the importance of trying to take care of yourself from a fitness point of view.
You are what is called a certified divorce financial planner. I didn't know there was such an animal out there, but tell me a little bit about what you do and why would someone need you instead of a lawyer?
Yeah, and you asked actually a couple of different questions, and I'll try to answer those the best I can. I think the first part is, what is a divorce financial analyst? There's about 1,000 of us in the country, and what we do is we have to go through rigors of 4 very complicated tests that touch on legal, that touch on accounting and tax issues relating to divorce. That's the first part. The second part is what I try to do is I look at financial planning software, taking a look at all the variables that my client may look at, such as child support, alimony, assets, and their living expenses. I combine them and forecast out about 20 years. Ladies, if there's any decision you're ever going to make, it's this decision, because what happens now is going to impact you for the rest of your lives. And if you take a look at the statistics, especially older women, the rate of poverty in older women is extremely high, and I'm trying to do everything I can to make sure that they've got assets that are going to carry through the rest of their lives.
Well, Cliff, one of the big problems in this situation is that many women have just kind of let the man run all the financial planning and handle all their financial affairs, and so they haven't had to face. They don't even, in many cases, know what they do have.
You're absolutely right. Over and over again, I encounter clients who bring in their tax records, and I go, oh, by the way, your husband owns a couple stores. I do. I mean, I'm looking at an energy limited partnership and trying to value that for one of my clients. And I said, by the way, you own 16 of them. I do. My husband never told me. And the idea is we want to play catch up. We want to play catch up fast. And financially, it's a very important area. So we try to look at all those assets and work on a collaborative basis. I have been a client of lawyers. I understand what that experience is like. And so what we try to do is work together and say, let's go through, let's create the assets, let's look at expenses, and really prepare them for choices, whether that's a choice of mediation or if they have to go to court, preparing them for those options. It's a very difficult process.
Yeah, and it's scary for a woman who's never had to deal with these kinds of things.
Scary for everybody, but especially if you've been a stay-at-home mom, which is the typical type of client that we have at my firm.
Right. Well, the emotional aspects of it as well that you talked about, that's going to be a part of this whole deal, is very important too.
Yeah, it is, because it's the idea of financial and legal is already difficult, and now you've got to make choices about what to do with your family. So I bring Dr. Dodge Ray in to talk about the emotional aspects and being able to look at those issues and say, all right, here are the choices that I need to have. Maybe we provide them with 2 or 3 choices and empower them to make those choices. If they don't make the choices with my seminar, somebody's going to make them for you.
That's right.
And if somebody else is making your choices, you're going to lose.
That's right. Cliff, thanks very much. Some very important information. Thanks for being here. By the way, the Summit for Divorcing Women seminar is this Saturday from 8:30 to 2. That's going to be at the Hilton downtown. For more information, you can call our hotline or go to our website.